What's up, people? One Nut Punch here. So I know it's been a little while since I've done a couple of videos, but like I said, I'm going to be doing videos bi-weekly instead of weekly. Undeadly came out yesterday, June 26, 2024, and I wanted to show it off. Essentially, I bought this in early access, and the thing is that they don't have a graphical setting, so you can't really do high, low, medium, or whatever DLSS stuff you're doing. They have different modes. They have peaceful, survival, lock and load, and custom. And the custom mode is essentially what I've been playing a lot of. For example, you could do starting survivors from 4 to 12, which is the max you can get up to. You could also set how many zombies you have per night or day, and then that depends upon how much turns you have per day, which I think is 24. Each time you do something, it costs action points, and it'll be above your character's like model or whatever they're doing underneath, like their icon or character. And if you highlight on some of them, they'll show like small boxes above their name, and it'll be like different status changes or what items they're currently carrying in their loadout. You could actually press the one button when it's their turn, and you can go and switch different weapons from melee to range to whatever utility they're currently carrying, like Molotovs, mines, gas masks, and so on. They have essentially two different types of ways to fight. The first is you have melee, and then they have a skill for everybody called On Guard. And what it does is when a zombie gets near you or close enough to you and you're adjacent to him, he will automatically attack him. There is no Overwatch in this game as far as I'm aware. And I had, like, again, 12 different characters, and not one of them had, like, an Overwatch ability to where I could shoot from afar. The other thing with the zombies is that they have two different ways of dying. The first is headshotting, which will instantly kill them. The second is by putting them in the crawler form. And what that does is when you shoot them enough times, like if their health goes from 100 and then you finally kill them, drop them down to 1 HP, they will essentially become a crawler. And you can kill them with a specific skill called Sweeper that doesn't cost you action points to kill any crawlers on the ground. But essentially what they'll do is they'll crawl towards you like one tile at a time and do like 10 to 15 damage. But still, they are annoying because they can block your way out of a building, which unit collision is a thing. If your character is in the front door, you can't get in. And you have these big fat zombies that if they die and become crawlers, if you go near them, they'll just one-shot you. Every time I've ever done that with a character that had like maybe 100 health, they just got smacked and they were instantly gone. So the game essentially is turn-based. Every single time you run, you scavenge, or you have to do the workshop stuff inside the base that you reclaim later so that you can get more salvage abilities, be able to make weapons and ammo, create armor and gadgets, and so on and so forth, because essentially all you need to do is find mundane crap you don't even use, throw it inside of a blender of other stuff, and then you can make storage or scrap from that, which essentially you could build your base from. The other thing is that if you do pick up a gun like an M16, sawed-off shotgun, grenade launcher, or whichever, you have to bring it back to the base to use it. If you have it in your inventory, it won't work. Same thing with bandages and small med kits. Every time I try to use it after I picked it up, I'm like, why can't I do this? And that's because you have to go back to your base, deposit all the crap or material inside your workshop, or not workshop, the armory, because the armory has the storage box you can deposit all the stuff from. And then after you're done, if you have enough scrap, you can make all the things you need. Mosin Nagant, AK-47, Uzis, different pistols, melee weapons, and so on. The other thing I forgot to touch on was the other different types of facilities in the building. You have medical, which you can heal your characters from, which is probably the only way to do it. Then you have library that allows you to take skills that you unlock and put them on your character faster and easier, or being able to acquire new abilities that you normally cannot find in the world. Then you have different moments or different like areas that have like these different entities rather than enemies. I'm not sure if they're like a universal thing to all zombies or just myself, but they're like these green glowy orbs, and they'll produce poison on the ground. But this is what the Renovate base looks like. You don't have very many facilities to choose from. On the left to right, you have the minus that is untouchable, library, which is the book, the gun is the armory, the medical, which is the pill, and the cogwheel is the workshop, which is essentially for the other items you can make in the game. Going down the list of Renovate base, they'll also show the turn order for how many turns it takes to make the facility, the amount of scrap or materials needed, like medical needs meds in order to go, and you need a doctor to also do some other things to allow you to get for faster healing and probably even make medications faster. For example, if you need to do the armory, you could have an engineer, and the engineer will make the turn of making the weapons a lot shorter. Same thing with ammunition, and maybe even the cost will be lowered as well. If they have a specific specialization from within that class, like engineer or doctor, highly recommend putting them inside the facilities they need to be. So, for example, when you find a bunch of loot on the ground and you get it inside your backpack, bring it back to the armory, and you just go in, and once you make a ding sound, which is essentially the pops up that says collected loot, then you just move away and then go find some more stuff. Essentially what you're trying to do is after you make the facilities, you have to go out and find all the different types of items, bring it back, get salvage, and make your base bigger and better than what it is. The more items you have, the more ammo you have, the more stuff you have, the better off you'll be, because after a while, they will swarm the shit out of you. The other thing is, like I said earlier in the start of the video, my fears were this. One, the game had a severe FPS problem. Second, they had a lot of crashing issues. And third, when there was a lot of crap on the screen, sometimes it would freeze, so I couldn't really, do very much. And I was so afraid that right before 1.0 happened, that it was going to stay like that. No, it did not. The FPS got fixed. A lot of bugs got fixed. I'll put in the description down below of all the stuff that was done. The new items, the new weapons, everything. I am so glad that this one guy from New Zealand changed everything. He fixed a lot of the stuff. I was so afraid because I played the early access version. I played it actually yesterday, or the day before yesterday, the actual release, because the main thing is that I got up and I thought that it was going to be coming out at 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. rather, because here it'd be CST. And normally when Steam comes out with new stuff or new games, it would be at 12 or 2 o'clock, where big updates, like for example, Power World is going to be coming out with Sakurajima, which is for today, June 27th. And I wanted to look at that and some other things, but essentially I thought it was going to be coming out during the morning/day. No, it came out yesterday at maybe 5 CDT. So after everything got put out and a lot of these fixes happened, I was really pleasantly surprised to see everything that changed. From the way that it feels, like your characters don't feel sluggish, they have more weapons than they used to, and they got a bunch of different stuff to do, and that's all I cared about. The fluidity and fastness of the game is what I was hoping for, and I did get that. And for $20, do I recommend Undeadly? Yes, I do, actually. From all the early access problems that I've seen to now upgrading weapons from Tier 1 to Tier 3, being able to go out and find scavenge stuff, there were some other issues I did have, like, for example, the overlay of the scavenge ability. Like, if you have your character's name above that, you couldn't really see it unless you zoomed in. And then there was a couple other minor things, but they're not really too much to worry about. Still, you have a fun game with a bunch of content. Essentially, you're going off and trying to survive as long as possible in Undeadly. You have these zombies that come from portals. You have these weird events like this wall of energy that goes through you that gives you abilities. You have these poison cloud type of enemies that come at you, or just in general, and they poison zombies. You could light stuff on fire, build traps. And the other thing I want to talk about is the sweet spot, just a little bit. The sweet spot is actually a very nice mechanic. What it does is that it's a circle around you. If the enemy is inside an orange, that is a sweet spot for doing critical damage or insta-kills. The other thing, right before the end of the video, is that shotguns are OP as hell. Here is why. If you have a shotgun, say for example a Farmer Brown's double barrel or a sawed-off, it fires in a cone, and it just goes through zombies. So if it hits a big zombie or a couple small zombies, they get obliterated, which is just gone. See you later. And like I said before, headshots will mostly kill zombies, but obliteration, they're just later. Goodbye. They're dust. See you later. That being said, I've been One Nut Punch, and this has been the Undeadly video. I wanted to talk about this because I was really happy to see the changes. I was really happy to see the bug fixes, and I hope they do a little bit more for Undeadly because I do feel like it needs a little bit of polish. That being said, for $20, I do recommend it, and for people to go check it out. You can go check it in the description down below. I'll put the patch notes from Steam so that people can go ahead and look at it for the new stuff they did for 1.0. That being said, that's all I got. And I got some other videos going on too, but like I said in the start of the video, it will be bi-weekly. It won't be weekly anymore. I want to do more for these games that I play. I want to do scripts, and I want to talk about them more in depth rather than doing like 5-7 minutes and then not really talking about much afterwards. But anyway, like I said, I've been One Nut Punch. I'll see you later in the next one.